Hey guys, welcome to Podiatry Practice Mastery. This is Don, where I try to help you get to the $1 million mark for your personal production each year. Today, I'm going to go over my top reasons why I love my scribe. Now, I am not paid by a scribing company. If you have a scribing company and you want to pay me, reach out to me. Okay. But I am not promoting any scribe company. I'm just going to promote Morali, who is my scribe. So let me tell you kind of some of the top reasons. So reason number one for my scribe is that on a daily basis, like today was a Friday, he reminded me multiple times to order ABIs and order my CDFE and do my CDFE. So he reminds me that what he does is he looks at the chart. If they're here for, like I do my nail care on Friday mornings, and he says, "Hey Don, this patient's diabetic. Their birthday is a month before, a month after the date, and you need to do a CDFE." Okay, it's been a year. So I do that. And I give him the results, and he does that, sends it to the PCP. Another thing he reminds me of is doing a PadNet. So he says, "Don," which I usually do around the same time as I do CDFEs, but he'll look and verify. Like if they have Blue Cross Blue Shield, I can't. If they have Medicare, I can. So he'll tell me which ones I can do, which ones I can't do, because I've taught him all that stuff. So that's number one. Number two, he saves me time with x-rays. So what I mean by that is in my templates through Athena, I have x-ray templates, right? So I know how to fill those out. I made them. I taught him how to use it. So now before I go see the patients, I'm in my office. I review x-rays with him and he documents everything. And then when I go to see the patient, I don't really have to show the x-rays to the patient. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I like to show it to them, but all the documentation portion is done previously, whereas in the past I used to do it with the patient. That's number two. Number three, he schedules surgeries for me. I have something called a Google Docs sheet basically on all the surgical scheduling notes that I need. And what he does is when I want to schedule a surgery, he will make a case, it's called, and he'll send it to me. And he'll put in there like patients needs a bunionectomy, need right foot with a hammer toe. And he copies and pastes from my Google Doc, what's the instructions, and he sends it to me. And then I just verify everything's fine, and I send it over to Christy, the person that schedules surgery. So he schedules surgery for me. He adds in what I forgot or I skip. So let me explain what that means. Many times before I had a scribe, I used to do things. I don't know how many times you've just trimmed a callus, and it takes you longer to document trimming that callus because you have to put where it's at, what you did, things like that, and then the discussion, whereas you can just do it in like 30 seconds. So for example, doing that, it's a lot easier. So I just say, I said, "Morali, I trimmed a callus," or "Morali, there's a fracture, so I'm going to strap the toes together. And we're going to do a cam boot, and we're going to do a night splint, and we're going to do foam rolling." And he just documents all that stuff. He knows what to do. I gave him Lamisil or Meloxicam or something else. He puts that in there, puts in the follow-up appointment, tells the staff to charge for whatever I give them. So he adds in everything that I kind of used to skip. So I tend to get paid more because he's remembering more. So he's paying. Number 5 is he orders medications for me. And so when I put in, like I said before, like Lamisil, or if I'm going to schedule a Q10s, or if I'm going to do my pre-surgical discussion, when I do my pre-surgical discussion, I actually send the medications to arrive 2 days before surgery, and he schedules them. So they will arrive 2 days before surgery at their pharmacy so they can pick those up. So he does all the medications, all my diabetic shoe orders, all my DME orders, all my any type of orders. He also sends out, number 6, he sends out information on Patient Education Genius. So he has access. I gave him access to Patient Education Genius. So he sends it out, but it goes out in my name, not in his name. It's cool. So he has access to PEG, I call it. And when he sends it out, it documents it in their chart, and it sends out to the patient. So he has a folder for himself with all my treatment processes, like Achilles tendonitis, plantar fasciitis, my new patient welcome packet, my shoe buying guide, everything that I talk about during the patient case. He can then send them stuff, and it's documented in their chart. That's a really good one. Number 7, he tells me about order results. So this is something that helps me. Like, for example, if a patient had an ABI and I go in to see the patient, I'll say, "Hey, Don, patient had ABI, they look normal." And so, okay, I say things look normal. Well, the patient's nail sample had a fungus in it, and I'll say it's fungus or not fungus or whatever. So he tells me the results before I go in, and then I go in and see the patient. So it saves me time there. I can do other projects when I used to do notes. So I used to do notes during the patient exam or after the patient exam, and now I just review them every so like 4 or 5 patients. I review them, but I can work on like other side projects like this, where I can record these videos and audios for you guys, all the wonderful people on Podiatry Practice Mastery. And then the like one of the biggest things, number 9 here, is that I don't have to type all the time. So I used to be, I'm really fast at typing and I have great templates, but the problem is I was distracted all the time. So I was kind of putting in like talking to the patient and then going back and said, "Excuse me, let me type." And I went back and talked to the patient and then I type. And then when I didn't have time, I put in like short notes and I used to finish the notes afterwards. So that's another thing. And number 10 would really be that I think I'm able to add one more patient per day. So I added another patient per day in the morning and in the afternoon. And by adding another patient, because of having a scribe, it actually pays for the scribe. So it was a really easy way to justify paying for it. And using a scribe, I have a virtual scribe. The reason we do that, a couple of reasons, is my rooms are small, and they would be like all in my area or my space of where I'm moving, opening up drawers, things like that. That's the first thing. Second reason is that when we order them from India, where he's from India, I don't have to pay any benefits. So that's another thing. And also I don't have to hire and fire people. So if they don't show up, things like that, there's a managing company that does all that. So those are my top 10 reasons for using a scribe. Hope that helps you out. I do have some other resources on Podiatry Practice Mastery talking about scribing. I did a master class a while ago that what's in the Practice Mastery Academy about how to train your scribe and everything else that I use for that. So if you want to check that out, get the Practice Mastery Academy. Okay, thanks.